How do you build a 5-star oceanside resort for farmers? Let's find out. Hello everybody, it's Lady Shatana, and welcome back to another one of my Minecolonies inspirations videos. As you can see, we are still working on our super epic, amazing fortress, cavern, cliffs, and ocean, and all amazing things all put together kind of colony. And we are enjoying our amazing dock that we have out front, where we've added some ships and invited the world to come and trade with our super secure fortress. And we're going to continue on working on the inside today, because I think the outside looks pretty darn good from this section, from this direction anyway. So yeah, let's head on inside. And so as we talked about in the last episode, I was having trouble deciding what fisher to use, and I spent a lot of time going through all the various styles and seeing what options were available, and I have a plan, and I'm super excited about it. We also talked about what other kinds of things we were going to put in this area here, and I had been talking about putting some plantation stuff, and I've kind of changed my mind on that. I think I'm going to put the plantation things on the inside. I'm going to use the hall, the farmer's hall that has the plantation thing, and then some of the extra plantation bits that I have. I've got decorations that go, or not decorations, I've got plantation fields that fit inside the various connectors and intersections. So we're going to use that. I have a different plan for what's going to go on outside. Now, with something like this where I'm combining a couple of styles or combining something with cavern, I love all my mega halls, like a lot. So I probably end up actually building all of the mega halls regardless of what's out here, because I just really like them, and I probably would do that. I would probably put all the mega halls inside, so it doesn't really matter what we put out here, except these like I said, these farmers do work better when they have actual sunlight. So here's my plan. What we're going to do is we're going to actually add the herders out here, because oddly enough, they're not very big in the fortress style, which is really kind of interesting. And then we'll probably have enough room to add some more fields, and probably one of those little alternative farmers on the inside. But let's get these in. So what we're going to do is we are in fortress and husbandry, and let's start with the shepherd's hut. Flip that around, move that back, and move that in there. So that's going to take up a single wall section here, and it's really interesting because some of these different ones are really interesting for their design with fortress. The shepherd, as you can see here, is pretty open. We are at level 5, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to construct that. And then we're going to put in, now we take a look here, now the cow hand, as alternatively, is really very large in comparison. So we might maybe put that down at the end, because I just feel like it just, I don't know, it doesn't look quite right. So what would be next? Would be the chicken farmer, I guess. So the chicken farmer is not quite lined up, but whoops! Oh, we're gonna need that. I do that a lot. I don't know if you guys do, but just randomly throwing your stuff around. I do tend to do that quite frequently. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get that chicken in there. What's next? That would be the, I don't always build the rabbit hutch when I'm doing just cavern myself, but it is actually really handy. So let's go ahead and get that in there. So this is interesting. So we have really open to less open to even less open. Before we place that, let's take a look at the swineherd's hut. And it goes less again. So we're going to go, I like to kind of make things even and make it look like it's supposed to, you know, like biggest to smallest and that sort of thing. I do that sort of thing a lot. So let's go ahead and let's add that guy in there. And then we'll move to that swineherd again. And put that there. Yeah, I kind of like how that's going there. Let's do that. And then the only one we had left was that cowhand's hut. So pop that up again. So now that we have those other ones in, this one, it doesn't seem so out of place. Like if we had put it there, it would have felt really, really out of place. But it doesn't feel so bad when we do it here. So, now the other thing, we could put it down at the end. So that would be 1 section, 2 section, 3, 4. Let's pop it right in at the very end there. Just see kind of how we feel about it. Now we would need to open this up. Yeah, I don't like that, but if we put it one further this way, and then what would we do with this? We could fill this in. We could just put in like a tree or something. We could, you know, what's interesting is sometimes taking a look at the other things going on. We could even like add like a waterfall, like a water feature going on over here or something really interesting. And that gives us 3 sections. Yeah, I think, no, we'll put it over next to all the other ones, and then we'll maybe put some fields or something, I think. What do you guys think? Yeah, we're just gonna pop it in. We're gonna do it. Constructed. Okay, so now that we've done that, as we did on the other side, we're gonna add some more of this promenade kind of thing going on here to sort of tie it all together. So let's go back to my personal things and the temporary walkway, and we're gonna drop that down and right like that, right along the edge. And when you overlap, I'm just overlapping it so that it just pulls out the fence bits here. And constructed, and pop that over. That should line up. Thank you. And constructed, and we'll keep going. We'll run it right down to the end there. And that, because we're going to be doing that anyway. And constructed. How close are we? And we'll run that right. Oops. Right down to the end. Constructed. There we go. Okay, so now we've got, and you see how doing that we've closed this in quite a bit, but it's still pretty big. But we are going to do something else. Now, these particular setups, they have some room for the animals, and the poor cows are just stuck on the inside and stuff like that. Now, one of the things we've been talking about with Minecolonies, and like is kind of on the roadmap. I'm not 100% sure if we actually will get there or not, but we've been talking about doing separate like pastures. So where you can have like a big pasture where all your animals are, and your various herders and stuff will actually go to the pasture and look after the animals and then go back to their huts. So you don't have to have like pasture space inside the huts themselves. Kind of like with the lumberjack, when the lumberjack, you know, leaves his hut and goes out to do the trees and comes back. So I'm not 100% sure if that's ever going to really happen, but I like to have exterior pastures for my animals, and make them be happy and stuff like that, if at all possible. I'm gonna go ahead, and it's gone dark, so let's go ahead and switch the time back to day. And there we go. So I'm actually going somewhere with this. I'm gonna add another bit of this promenade stuff, but I'm gonna make a pasture right here, and I'm gonna toss some animals in there. The herders won't actually look after them here, but they're just gonna be there. It's gonna be for aesthetic purposes only, and I just think it'll look really nice. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do this, and I'm not gonna overwrite the fences in this case. I'm gonna keep the fences here. So let's construct that. Construct that, and so now we have this fenced in area. You can leave this or turn it into actual dirt. I would probably swap this back to actual grass block. There we go. And then we would do something really fun, like get some bone meal, and we'll make some grass going on over here, just like that. I almost always break down the double grass for some reason. It's just too tall. It's too tall for me. Fill that in, like that, and like that. Something that, your little beasties would want to live in. Okay. And so now we have this really nice little pasture space, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab, a cow, and where's the sheepies? Hello, sheepies. Where's the sheepies? Sheep. There we go. And I'm just going to toss a couple of cows and a couple of sheep into our little pasture. That would be a cat, not a sheep. Animal sounds. I'm really good at them. Okay, so yeah, we have this little pasture, and it's just these little extras. You'd probably open this up to lead them in and then just close it up. By not having any gates in here, it prevents guards and things like that from going into it and your animals getting out. So you just have this nice little spot. I might even put a little tree in the center there, that sort of thing. So we now have a quite the agricultural kind of district going on here. So let's so again, as we talked about previously, you're going to need a lot of farmers and fields and things going on here for the way the food system works now. So we are going to add another set of fields for this. And what we might actually do is there's a greenhouse one, which is pretty nice, that we haven't actually added yet. Greenhouse. And it's a decoration. And move that back. And then we'll decide if we want to use this or not. So it's got 4 fields in there, like that. And it's one of these ones where, oh, you know what? I seem to recall this one doesn't work right. If you have to upgrade it so that your fields are in there properly. But now that I've got it in there, it's quite bulky. I don't know if I like it. There's a melon farm. It's kind of fun if you wanted melons. Oops, back into proper fields. So that was farm A, farm B, C had the 4 fields, fortress field, so that's where it doesn't go onto the wall. So that's if you were like building something in an big inner court or something like that. There's a tree farm and a mushroom farm. But let's pop that farm or field C in there and see how we feel about it. Yeah, we'll just add more fields, just like that. And then what we'll do is we'll do that B, I think it's the B field. We get just a couple more fields in there. And then we'll just fill this area in here and maybe stick in a tree or a piece of decoration or something like that. What do we got going on here? Nope. Like that. Does that look like it's in line? Yes, it does. Okay, so there we go. We've got that in there. We're going to just fill in this with that dirt so that we don't have people falling in and doing the drowning crazy thing, because, you know, I love our colonists. I love them so much, but I do call them derps. They're a little derpy, always trying to do silly things. Okay, so that area is nice and safe, and yeah, we'll stick something in there at some point. Okay, so that's all ready. You've got these bunch of fields here, and then what I would probably do is add one of the alternative farmers in here, or I might even do the farmers make a hall up here so that they have access to these farms here, or to these fields, and same with this guy, so they can kind of like share the fields. And as I said in, I think it was the second video, by doing something where you actually have your fields full of all the different crops, and instead of switching what crops are in the fields, you actually switch what fields the farmer is working on. So, you know, say if, you know, you had, you know, all of the Minecolonies crops that you've collected, you've got one going on in each one here, and if you have too many eggplants, you just sort of disable the eggplant field and enable the garlic field or something like that. So you actually maintain your various stocks of things that way by switching the fields out themselves. Okay, so we have this fun thing going on here, and it's like super cool agricultural going on with these here. Now, you don't obviously want people going through these and you know, falling in and that sort of thing. So what you're going to do is you're going to close them off, but you're going to do, like, for temporary, I would just like throw some fences in so you still have like the opening and stuff like that, because the way that the design of the town hall is that after that, you know, you get that first level 1 built, these are, if I recall correctly, they're placeholders, so that whether you have them closed up or opened up, they'll keep whatever's there, I believe. If not, it's just every time you upgrade, you'll just replace those. So you would have that going on to keep things safe for, you know, while you're doing your upgrades and building. We are going to want to have this area have a walkway here, so back to my personal, right there and there and there, and like this. And we don't want to overwrite that, but we do want to overwrite that. So construct it and construct it. So we can actually have this one open like that. That didn't line up properly though. Do I want to put it one more over? I feel like I do. Just so that it lines up nicely. I'm weird that way. I mean, you can, you know, do this just yourself so that it, it completely lines up to where you want to be. So we're just going to move this out by one more, and constructed. And is it this right there? And constructed. There we go. That looks nice. And then you'll have some room to do whatever kind of decoration-y things you want over here. And fix that up. And let's add getting to dark time, so it reminds me to make sure that everything is lit properly. Just toss a couple of these on here. Like that. And that. Hello guys. Are you happy? Are you happy in your new home? I hope so. I hope so. Alright, so there we go. And eventually we'd probably, you just sort of fancy that up a little bit. Or you can leave it as is, doesn't matter. Okay, so we still have this pond. And it's kind of cool. When you pull back, you know, you've got the water on both sides, and it still kind of balances everything out, even though this one is much bigger. Having that water on the other side is like, oh, well, that makes sense, because this is a, you know, a water-based fortress build. So, again, I'm always so happy looking at any mine colony built at night, because it's all lit up and everything looks so nice. Okay, all right. So let's once again switch this back to daytime. Right there, day, and there we go. Okay, so for the fishermen, going through all the things, I was actually really surprised to learn that we only have one style that has a fisherman that is just a ship or like a boat. Every other style, even the ones that have a little boat in the fisherman, it's always part of the build. So there's like a building and a dock and a tiny little boat. There's only one style that was just entirely a boat, and I found that really, really interesting. So I'm probably going to start building fishermen that are boats and get them put into one or another style. So that's something I'm going to work on. But I did find something that I think is going to work, that is going to work well for us. So let's get into here, and we're actually going to look at the stalactite caves, which seems a little strange, but it, I think, is going to work really, really well for us. So when we do this, we're going to do this, and then I'll do a big reveal. It'll be great. Down into the water, and this should fit. It's not that way, it's this way. This should fit. Aha. Yes. There. And okay. So it's a tower. So what we've got going on here is those are just light placeholders. So if there was anything there, it would leave it there. So this is meant to go into a giant cave. So it would create these stalactites in the ceiling. Stalactite caves, it's a really interesting style. It used to be called True Dwarven, and it's meant to build underground. And it's interesting because it's another underground style, but very, very different from cavern. But it has some really cool things. It's just so it's like you put it into an underground lake that you found, but it does this cave thing. But for our purposes, because it's like a stone tower and stuff like that, it actually matches pretty well with the fortress aesthetic thing we've got going on here. So I'm gonna kind of move it up like this. So we're still gonna have, you know, an open bit of things going on here, I think. And do we want to do that, or do we want to push it right back and have something like a little walkway thing that comes across here maybe and connects these two bits, but has this, and then we have our open pond part on this side? I kind of like that idea. But I also kind of liked it up here, where we would build that little down path right here that it connects to. How do we feel? How do we feel? And the problem is that I'm sure you guys are talking to me right now and telling me what your opinion is, and I can't hear you. So that's kind of a bummer right there. You know what? I feel like it sort of meshes in better when we put it further back. I do. And yeah, and then we can put some little boats or something up here. So I feel like that actually works a little better for us. Let's do one more back, maybe. Yeah, and then we'll have that. It'll be sort of a floating bridge kind of thing. I think that will look really quite nice. And then we can, what we talked about before with the front dock, we'll blast those pylons down to the bottom there. It's not too far down for that. And yeah, I like it. I'm just gonna commit and we're gonna do it. And it's level 5 and constructed. There we go, it looks kind of cool. And so let's go ahead and let's grab some, oh, what are we feeling? I think it's gonna need, do we want slabs or do we want stairs? Let's try stairs. Let's see how we feel about it. So we'll do that, so we'll go a couple of these. And then down like that. No, we don't need to go down yet. All right, let me, I don't know if we do 2. How much space do we have if we open that up? We do, now is it gonna need, I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna need railings. I can actually spend, I don't know about you guys when you're doing like these extra decoration-y kind of bits on things. I can spend a ridiculous amount of time thinking about how I want everything to look. I'll build something and then I'll destroy it, and then I'll build something and then I'll destroy it. So it can take me quite some time. Where's that? Boop, boop, boop. We'll do it this way. A dark oak slab right there. Yeah, now, so let's put a couple slabs like that to connect it. And then a couple more slabs. Do we want to have it so it's more open this way? Yeah, I think that looks better. So we've got that, and then this. Oops. Like that. And that. And right over there. Like that. Open that up. Except with this, I would probably actually switch this out to a dark oak wood instead of the slabs, because I like it. But maybe we'll take a look at that later. We'll just get this in there so it's done. So we've got that little bit going on there, and then as I said, we would take a little bit of time, take a deep breath, and pop these right down to the ocean floor, like that. So we'll do just the one, but you can see what we got here, and it does look a bit more like it's actually being held up properly. Actually, right now it looks like it's got one toe dipping down to hold itself up. Yeah, so then we got that, and then we still got the water going on. I'll think about if we want to increase that at some point. But yeah, so we have closed in a whole bunch of things. We've added more fields. We've got all our animals going on out here. We've got a nice little pasture for our own personal favorite animals. And look at that. How cool does that all end up looking? Like, I am super, super happy with what we've ended up with. Like, and then you could certainly expand it. You could have more sections coming out, you know, maybe even like a halfway thing, opening up a gate to, you know, make it bigger on each side, have like wings, you know, so you can make it as big or as small as you want, but thinking kind of outside the box and just building on the surface of the ocean. Like, I'm so happy with this, guys. And if you have, you know, alternative ideas of how you could utilize this in maybe a similar way, but in a different place, please let me know. And any interesting ideas that you have for combining different styles and stuff. And if you have any, you know, even a seed that has a really interesting generation and you're like, what would you build here? Let me know, because, you know, I'm doing this for you guys as well as myself. So let's all come up with some ideas together to see what I'm going to build next. I could do a whole bit on the building the inside, but it's just standard cavern stuff, and you can always go back to my cavern videos for that. But so I think as a inspiration, this is pretty finished, pretty complete. So obviously I'd add a whole bunch more trees and I'd add more decorations and things like that. But I hope this helps you coming up with ideas and yeah, figuring out what you would want to do that's a little bit different, a little bit out of the box for that. So with that, I am going to say that I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic day and that we see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.